Hello, you beautiful people. Another episode of Uncle Talk. Today, we're going to continue our conversation about the screen and the screen content, and we want to focus on how manage things that we're going to watch, especially helping our children to come up with some sort of maybe template or solutions or approach on controlling, organizing, structuring the time and the content. You know that the content matters, and that's the most important things. Hello, everybody. Hello, Raj.
Hello, Uncle
Hello, my
Code.
friend. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling excellent, Uncle Code. I think we're going to have a really exciting talk show episode today.
Right?
And the title for today is Curating Digital Content for Your Child Like a Pro.
Ooh, like a pro, exactly. You know what? It's really interesting. And it's a little bit that kind of ironic because you are a person creating digital content, right? You are such a kind of person. Now we're going to tell the parent that, hey, let your child see and watch people that creating digital contents and good content. So it's in the favor of your side.
Yeah, hopefully it's in the favor of my side because I think, parents, if you guys ever see my content, please give your child another 10, 15 years more, right? Because I guess there are different levels to content. And some content which appeals to teens might not appeal to toddlers, right? Some which appeal to adults might not appeal to, kids who are in university, for example. So there are different levels to content. And hopefully today, Uncle Code, we can learn a bit more about this content and how we can curate it like a pro. So, Uncle Code, we have had this conversation about screen time, right? For quite a number of times now.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm thinking, maybe we should sort of review what we've talked about quickly in the previous episodes.
So maybe you want to also see if Ash is available. Let Ash also join.
All right, of course. We have Ash in the building today as well. Ash, are you there?
I am here. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Ash. How are
Hello,
you?
Uncle. Hi, Raj. I'm good. Everything's good. How are you guys?
We're super awesome, Ash. We almost forgot for a moment that you were here backstage with us. Because I noticed that I made a really huge blunder. I talked about review, and knowing Uncle Code, when it comes to review, he's probably going to turn the tables and ask us to recollect what the previous episodes are. So my heart just sank for a while. I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to be tested.
It's not fair at all that I just sit down and I review the previous talk by myself when you two are here and you are in charge to remind me what we discussed. Okay, that's the time. Quiz time. Are you ready? Because I'm not sure they are ready. So, Raj and Ash, remind me what we discussed about the screen time, and the screen content.
Okay, I'll start first. All right, because
you need some tissue. Okay.
Speaking about tissue, we talked about how screens are like the modern day paper, right? We talked about that. Yeah. So thanks for the tip, Uncle Good.
Very good. Very good. Modern wallpaper. Yes, we talk about modern wallpaper. They are everywhere. What are you talking about? It's everywhere. What else?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really true. And because of that, there is really not much of harm to us when it comes to physical screen, as opposed to what we actually, like the common connotation that when you usually use a screen, that's when you get harm in your eyes and everything else. It's really not that much of harmful.
True. If you remember, I mentioned that interesting research that is done in England regarding the current state of technology, that there are little evidence shows that it has really any harm on children or adult eyes or whatsoever. Of course, they suggested that 1 hour before sleeping, try to not watching the screen. But anyway, we discussed about the evolution of technologies. Today a screen was not like this 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and 10 years later won't be different like today. And VR and AR also coming. So the concept is more bigger than being worried about the technology. Always this kind of concern should channel into innovation, to building something better. So what else?
We also talked about the importance of self-control or self-regulation.
Exactly.
Right? And then we also talked about, it's not really about the time or the duration, but the type of content your child consumes on these screens.
Perfect. Yes. We discussed to be smarter. You should be a smarter parent. So focusing on the screen itself, I don't call it a smart move or decision. Focusing on what is happening within the screen, that is a smart choice. It means like I want to think. I'm a parent. I want to think about that. I know that the time of using a screen is going to be more and more. So it's better I start to focus and study and educate myself with beautiful contents available over the internet, or how to utilize them. And the most important thing that you mentioned, how can I raise a child that can be decision maker? Because I don't want to just you are busy, I'm busy, everybody busy. We don't want to just be in charge of our child all the times. And then
Yeah.
it's really beautiful to see we created something natural and a child, self-regulated child, then can do all this kind of stuff. Perfect.
You know, actually, speaking about that, right, Uncle Code, I have a question. Now that we talked about self-regulation and self-control,
Okay.
my question is, who should decide things like how many hours you use, what kind of content you consume? Who should be deciding this, the child or the parent?
Interesting.
Ooh.
I think it's important. So now officially we started our talk today, right? We're talking today. We're talking about how to make you pro. Okay, you are going to be a pro. So I think that's a nice question. Before we jump to contents, how to manage and control, maybe it's a better question to ask that who should do this. If I'm a parent and my strategy is to let my child do that, it's very beautiful, right? Because okay, I'm totally not in the game. My solutions, my approaches will be different. I have to do different stuffs, and that required a really mature child. That means I have to really invest, since my child is 1 day, to come up with a 6 days mature kid, 10 days mature kid, 1 year. So maturity is not a point. Many times I have seen that parents think that there is a point and my child will be mature. For example, they join the Curating and they want to register. They say that my child, because our system is based on a student being in charge. We really try to train kids to be in the charge of, to be key, a member of learning process, right? And then some parent, they say, my child is not mature. And then we ask, how old is your child? 14 years old. So what you were doing the last 14 years? It will be. There is a day will be mature, and when it's mature, it's ready to join. So the point is, I really, the 14, I hear it from the 9 years old, 8 years old. The point is, we thinking there is a maturity point that you reach, boop, you are mature. Yesterday you're not mature. It's not. It's a progress. Being mature is a progress, and this is very important. I believe in, when it comes to the learning theories, I'm working on some contents for my channels to review learning theories, which is very important. We have many different learning theories, but 3 of them which became very, very popular: behavioralism and constructivism and cognitivism. And I want to focus on the later 2, the cognitivism and constructivism, which says that if you let learners to be in the situation to construct the learning content by themselves, they feel ownership and they remember, they learn it. It's different than behavioralism, that you're in a class, I'm a teacher, I say everything and everybody should be quiet. Why? Because I need your 100% concentration. You shouldn't do anything else. The only organism of your body, the only part of your body works is here, and then the brain. So nothing else. Don't talk with your friends, because I need a full attention. And then I will give quiz. If you pass it, I give you bonus, reward. And if you don't do it, I give you punishment. So so this is behavioralism, okay? But when it comes to constructivism, the classes looks like a kind of workshop. That means people that are in a position to build the context. So if you are a parent, learning theory back to parenting theory, what approach you use? I believe that parents, they have to educate themselves toward this constructivism approach. If they do that, then this is the child that's going to make the decision with parent contribution. That's a very important thing. So my first desire is, of course, see a day that the child make a decision. So this requires training of parents and children.
But how about we've also experienced in Kiddo to actually meet some parents who likes to manage this kinds of decision making for the kids. And maybe some parents, they might be, we can say, a bit more controlling when it comes to the usage of screen. How about them? Like, what should they do?
Okay, you're right. That's correct. You know what? No matter, at the end of the day, we are human. We have our features weaknesses.
Mhm.
Even as an adult, as a parent, we are doomed with difficulties that we have in our life or the way we grown up. Some of us, we have this desire to control things, or we feel
Mhm.
safer. Even when you look
Yeah.
at the personal life of that person, you see that person has this dependency on controlling everything, controlling the room temperature, controlling the food, controlling the health. So there are a lot of things. That means you feel better, you feel safer when it comes to that position. So uh, uh, I understand. For those parents, maybe jumping to, for those of you that need this sort of controlling, give you security, or you feel that your child need controlling whatsoever, I think there are a smarter way to control. Ash, you can control
Yeah.
your child explicitly. That means you tell them what to do, define what to do, even
Mhm.
write down on a refrigerator what to eat, what not to do, or the rules and this and
Yeah.
that, or come up with some implicit controlling. Implicit controlling are like a kind of, sometimes in I want to criticize the capitalism and media, is implicitly they are controlling our mind. That means we read news that is not really coming out of our search. It's coming from what
Mhm.
became trend. So I don't have the chance to go through the Google and Twitter and see something that I'm interested in my own way. What I see, everybody, trend, majority. So it's difficult to filter out what I wanted. But anyway,
Yeah.
from the other way, look at the power of this implicit controlling. Parents, they can control children without really go to the face-to-face situation, without killing the freedom of choice. Because you as a
Mhm.
child, you learn to be mature when you can make a decision. But what if parents simulate, or emulate is a better term, the situation of the house in a way that child can make a choice between two, three, four options, which is a little bit limited, controlled, self-contained, but at the end of the day, child is making the decision. So in the mind of child at age 4, 5, 6, that they take everything seriously, you tell your child, you are a bad child, you are a bad boy. They really take it seriously.
Mhm.
And don't do that, please. Don't do that, because children, they don't have that rational part of the brain to say, okay, mommy, daddy is angry. That's why telling me this. We don't say this. You never told this when you were 4 or 5. You believed on that. And it's still you are bringing with yourself. So implicit controlling is what I really like to see these parents search about it. We can talk hours about implicit controlling techniques.
So I'm just trying to understand the balance, right, when it comes to self-regulation, because what I'm understanding now is that parents have to do a lot of things, right? They have to
Yeah.
set certain boundaries, like, we have the implicit way and the explicit way of running the show per se, right? So where's the boundary when it comes to self-regulation? How much should the parents put in, and how much should the kids put in?
You know what? It's when it comes to measuring these characteristics, they are qualitative characteristics. They're not
Mhm.
quantitative. That means I can't say, for example, how much or whatever. But what I can say is it's really dependent on the way you grown up yourself. That means parent themselves, the way that the school culture. There are many parameters to define if a child is self-regulated or not. So again, there's no point that you say, okay, my child became self-regulated. To be
Mhm.
self-regulated will continue as long as you're alive. So you can always work on that. So the very important thing is to have the progress of becoming self-regulated from the moment that you are a child till the moment that you are dying. That means living in a house, living in a company, living in a school that led you to step into this beautiful journey, which sometimes has pain as well. But anyway, the
Mhm.
outcome is great. So that's a very important thing. It means if I know that, it's not like if I do it today, tomorrow my child can make all the decisions. We're not going to say this. But the point is,
Yeah.
if you just take all the decision, taste of decision, because decision making is fun. You like it. I like
Mhm.
it. I became a team leader because I like the feeling of decision making. I give me dopamine, especially when I can do trial and error and mistake and the good things. But this is fun. Let children also have the fun of decision making, and then the outcome is you will see what is happening. There is this back to that constructivism. We want to have active learners. In a school system, unfortunately, majority of the students are passive learners. Passive means look at the school. I know tomorrow I go to a school, there is a guy we call a teacher. So he is in charge of thinking about the next part. So what's gonna happen to me? I'm relaxed. I sleep tomorrow tonight. I wake up tomorrow like a passive guy because you are going. But why should I be worried? But imagine active learner. So what should I learn tomorrow? Okay, how long should I stay in this? Because I know I am in
Mhm.
charge. So that makes me independent. I know there is a spectrum. Some people, they have more of these abilities, some people less. But learning system, parenting should go through raising active learners. So if you consider this, eventually, even this decision making about a content will turn itself into a tools, a magical wand that you put your children and make them more active into the learning.
Very nice, very, very
So
nice.
that's why the last talk I focused on time management, screen content, because these are all opportunities for making decision. As much as, believe me, you are free, you have freedom as much as you make choice in your life.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Speaking about tools, Uncle Code, are there any apps that can help parents, get a bit more comfortable or to manage using screens with their children?
Okay. This is the nice part, especially for those of you that need such a kind of system. This is kind of implicit controlling. That's a nice thing. Okay. So there are tons of apps. There are many apps. You are using apps on your phone. But it's good to know that before even this concern of parenting, before we get into the children, there were some company producing applications for software companies and university to control student access to services, and also staff. For example, at the beginning, when the Facebook was on browser, this was an issue that all the staffs in the working time, they keep web surfing and checking their Facebook. So it became popular to have some sort of solution.
Ash is looking really nervous right now. Just wanted to point that out.
I know. I feel like I'm being attacked.
Well, Ash, I never wanted to admit it, but you guys all controlled. I have here in my room, I have 6 monitors. Everything is there. All the diagrams, charts. How many times Jimmy Kimmel? How many times YouTube? And these companies are famous. For example, Kaspersky is a famous antivirus, right? So they are the one that also creating applications for businesses and now for parents and children to control and check and monitor. And also Norton. Norton is great antivirus. Since I remember when I was a child, the first antivirus the name was Toolkit Peter Norton, and then till today. They have also a family version that you can just test it and you can control it with your children. But there is another one that I like is Q Studio, Q Studio. It's a really good software. You pay like $50 per year. You have subscription. Depends on how many devices that you want to have it. So then what's going to happen is you can actually control the one that always I say, you can define time, how much time YouTube, how much time this and that. And then and it cover everything, not only computers, it track all the devices, Mac, iOS, Android, and everything. And imagine this is a nice way because I can sit down with my child. Okay, my child, you have to plan your screen time and screen content. So look at this parenting part. You have to, because I say, you understand? So, but you're free to manage your plan. You have 10 days, 12 days, 20 days, come up with your plan. Then she has the decision-making. Children doesn't have any problem with why mommy, daddy should make a decision. Because for now, it's like that. That means your child follow you. But they have issue that why everything's. They may not be able to talk about it, but they feel it because we are human. We're born free. We want freedom is a biological need. We want to do that. So and then otherwise evolution should get another direction. But we came up with this feeling that we want to show ourselves. So it doesn't matter how old we are. So then kid come up with a plan, and then you go through the plan. If plan is nice and everything is good, close, put it into this system. Okay, our child, enjoy your screen. And I'm controlling. So I have my phone. So I look at my phone, for example, when my phone is not into the camera. So my phone is here. So I look at my phone and then do that. And then eventually I have all the diagrams. You can see how many. So it's really nice. So I suggest parents to search about it. Maybe we can have a review of some of these apps one day, Raj.
Yes, definitely. That would be a great idea. Okay, cool. So another question that just sort of popped in my mind is that we all have different habits or personalities when we use screens, right? Some people might use
Yeah.
screens for like video games, someone like Ash, for example, might, take up online courses all the time. For you, Uncle Code, you're always researching and reviewing things. So there are different like personalities on the internet. Do you want to like share a bit more about the kind of different personalities there are online?
Well, I also watch Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a huge surprise, Uncle Code. I could never guess.
Yeah. So, I watch and I watch Big Bang Theory for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and I don't know how many more times I'm going to watch it. So, okay. So this is a good question, but I want to engage you guys. I will. There are some different. In general, there are some personality types for internet users. Okay, it's good. I like to look at things holistic. Okay, so and then we see. So I'll explain, and then you guys give me some of your example. These types is not like kind of you are this. Okay, we can be all of it in different times, but one of them is the dominant part. Okay, so that's a very important. So these 5 personalities, I'll say quickly, and then you guys share me your experience. The first is passive. Passive are those users that, as much as possible, they don't use it. That means they are in the offline world. For example, let's say you're living in a beach in Langkawi, and then you've been all the times a coach, and then maybe you just all the time natures and jumping, and sometimes use a little bit of the internet and the phone. Just an example. Or you're maybe a musician, or I don't know. But I mean, like, for example, we have two kinds of musician, huh? A musician which is engaged a lot with music, with digital software and all the kind of things. A musician that it's not that much engaged. So you see that you can have same job but different personality. So passive is like that. And then, or maybe sometimes you want to be passive on some topics. You like to prefer to be passive. Number 2 is geek. Geeks are actually the most professional user of internet. That means they exactly know what they want and what they do, and they are content provider in some sort, and then they use for their engineering, mathematics, science, computer programmers in some way engage with this part, and anyone in any area that really technologically, and that's what we call it, the term geek. And number 2 is social butterfly. Social butterfly or socializer, always in any community, it doesn't matter. It's a game community, it's Facebook community. Around 40% of users are socializer. These are people like to send comments, share, bring things, and talk, and thumbs up, thumbs down, send the reaction, the feelings. Actually, they take the responsibility of social networks in their shoulder.
Yeah.
So these are very.
These people live on TikTok.
Yeah, they are everywhere. That means that yes, exactly. They're actively everywhere, and they have nicer skills to create nicer stuff. And then finally, another one is the entertainment buff. Entertainment buff is like if you have a Netflix on your phone, you have Netflix on your MacBook, you have Netflix on your Apple TV. So wherever you are, your Netflix is streaming everywhere. So there's a chance that you are entertainment buff. So you are connected to this part of the internet. That means you have your own games, you have your own videos, you have your own kind of music, your Spotify maybe, or iTunes, or you have membership subscription for this kind of stuff. So really you could adapt your entertainment life. And then finally, workers, like many of us, especially now after COVID. That means we engage with email, Zoom, ClickUp, softwares, tools that we use, the Google Docs, Google Spreadsheet. So these are so now let's back to first one. Every one of you quickly give some examples, and passive.
When it comes to passive, the first person that comes to mind is my mom. She will take every single initiative to not be on the internet. And then I think personally for myself, I'm trying to make it a habit. After 10 p.m., I want to be a passive user of the internet, just so that I can sleep better at night.
Wow.
Okay. How about you, Anne?
In contrast to what Raj has mentioned, actually for my mom, she's more like the moment she realized that there's internet, we can't disconnect her anymore.
She's plugged into the matrix.
It's like a Pandora's box every time she's on the phone. But anyway, for passive, I think this is quite difficult because all of us are in the internet. So I try my best, maybe only on weekends, that I disconnect myself from the internet, but not fully. I think it's going to be quite difficult to find passive users now, even grandparents,
Yeah.
when you
Right.
see them using Zoom and you only see the forehead, you know that they're the grandparents.
You know, it's surprising. Whenever I post any content on Instagram, my grandmother is there to comment on it. It happens all the time.
Basically, when you you know what, when you start any channels at beginning, you have a lot of active followers, and they're all your family members.
Yeah.
So, how about the geek?
Ooh, geeks. Okay, so when speaking about geeks, I used to have an ex-colleague who used to make memes for a living, right?
Okay.
And he is a huge tech geek. He knows everything about phones, about laptops, about cameras, about routers and modems. I don't even know the difference between routers and modems, but he knows everything, right? And he was going through this issue where he couldn't find answers to all the tech questions that he wanted online, or even if he found the answers, they were not presented in a simple to understand manner. So eventually what he did was, because he was so passionate about this side of the internet, he left his job making memes for a living, and he started his own blog and YouTube channel to talk about tech-based content. So, you know, he's like a huge advocate of this. And I think now like 95% of his time is spent researching stuff like this online.
One of a good job for these people is reviewing YouTube channels, blog, and online contents. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Anything on this, Ash?
I'm dependent on them. I guess that's what I'm going to say. If they're not around, I wouldn't be able to answer the common questions that I usually Google. I have to find them on YouTube. I have to find them on Google so to give me the answer. So I'm heavily dependent on geek people to provide this content for people like me.
You're right. That is nice. That is nice way. Yeah, these people, especially those that they publish, they are the one that they are creating valid content over the internet. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
They are
they're
everywhere.
actually very helpful.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Psychology, chef, in sport, nutrition, biology, movies. There are people that really nicely write and analyze, and that's the really we have to really appreciate these people that provide such kind of contents. So we go for social butterfly.
So
Right,
now
I think this is you.
it's not me.
It's you.
A majority of my friends are like that, right? Every single thing they do in their what time they wake up, like, oh, look, I showered, take a selfie. Oh, look, I just ate lunch, take a selfie. Oh, you know, I did this, take a selfie. They're so connected to the social media world. But there's actually this one hilarious story that happened. So I have a friend of mine, his car got stolen a couple of years ago, all right? His car got stolen, and because he's so plugged into social media, he's a content creator as well, he started posting about his missing car online, right? And because he's such a social butterfly, he said like, okay, my car went missing in this area 2 hours ago. On the same day itself, they managed to find his car, and he actually live streamed the entire process of him getting his car back from the person that stole it. And it wasn't staged at all. Within the same day.
Within the same day. That is a true butterfly. That's a true butterfly. He's a real butterfly.
He's a social dragon, Uncle.
No, nice. It's true. They really also take the big responsibility of let the internet be alive.
Yeah.
So to save the time, Ash, you go for the worker learner.
Yes. So I guess I would consider myself as a worker learner. Yeah. And in fact, like just for me to be able to detach myself from work, instead of doing some other things, I go and enroll myself to some other courses that is totally different from work to have that refreshed mind. But still, I'm a user of the internet. So
Worker or learner?
I think more in the learner. Learner, worker. Every day is
You
something.
consider in same category.
different, yeah.
These two is in the same category.
Yeah.
Well done. Okay, great. So next question.
So let's talk briefly about. So we know about the personalities. Let's talk about the content types, right? Do we have anything
Great.
like content categories per se?
I think before we talk about some or strategies for parent, it's good to talk about this. Okay, so you know what, dear parents and any audience you're watching this, I think awareness about different content type is very important, because you remember that I said that it's good that you become a digital citizen. As a parent, let digital transformation come to you. And when you want to do something, you want to pick up a content, you want to help your child to pick up a content, you must have familiarity with all these sort of different content type. So you know what, in general we have audio, video, webinar, article, infographic, white paper, newsletters, podcast, e-course, ebook, so e-letters. So there are a lot of kind of different things that especially digital marketer utilize it to produce content, or content provider, they use it. So it's very important I understand which one of these contents, pros and cons, and then utilize it in favor of what I'm looking for. For example, if I'm looking for some quick stats, most of the time I go for infographic, and it just
Yeah.
summarize for me statistic and some things, then I can apply it immediately. So e-course or ebook, for example, or there are a lot of things. So here, but in general, a little bit, a bit more abstract. What I say, audio, video is a little bit atomic, but a little bit more general. I'm gonna give you guys 7 type, and immediately you guys give me some example for that. Okay, so the first type is learning material. Ash?
I would consider it like Coursera, maybe Udemy,
Perfect.
those MOOC online
Yes.
courses, right?
Massive online learning courses. So exactly, like Udemy, edX, Coursera, and
Mm,
I should say all the educational YouTube channels. There are tons of them. I think you as a parent, you have to spend time a little bit every week, search over the internet and find top educational YouTube channels on biology, on chemistry, on psychology, on philosophy, on mathematics, on many more things. So then you have some of them, you watch some of them. So it's very important that, like everybody has a set of a feature list, parents should create a selection of learning channels. It's very important for themselves, for the children. It's very important. Remember those old days, and even now, the grandma, grandpa, in their pocket, they had a lot of candies and biscuit, huh? But I think in the future, grandpa, grandma, in their pocket, they have a lot of channels, good channels. I have a good YouTube channel suggest to you. So try to be that kind of parent, please. So number 2, information and news. Raj?
Wow, this is plenty, because the whole internet is information and news, right? But again, there are plenty of YouTube channels we can look at, plenty of news portals, things like NPR News, that might be more catered towards the adult side, for adults to listen to. But YouTube channels, plenty of places for you all to look at.
Including the social media work for the news, CNN and NBC and some standard, all this. Now many magazines and newspapers, they are moving, they're shutting down their hard copy production line. They're all moving to the online. That's a good news, lesser paper, and that's nice. So you have tons of options, depends on your favorite thing. So having the habit of reading is good, reading some articles every day. So this is really interesting stuff. So number 3, video and entertainment. Ash?
I would consider number 1 TEDx talks. Like
Perfect.
really, lot of really interesting contents, and I think I can also consider here like YouTube channels created by real content creators from industry level. They're sharing a lot of those expertise and all those things. So that's part of entertainment and really good valuable content.
Agree. And you know what? When we talk about the web video entertainments, video contents are growing to contribute a big portion of the whole internet, and that's why you can see there is a huge a competition between YouTube, Facebook videos, Twitters. Now all of them, they have videos. Video is important. TikTok is just a video channel. Instagram bring the reels somehow to in competition with TikTok and other stuff. So Netflix is an entertainment. So now it's really nice. We can watch our video everywhere, and we never lose it. I remember in my time, it was beautiful cartoon. They play every Wednesday 30 minutes. So I have to wait 7 days. We were more patient. Now it's easy. Why should I be patient? Just go and watch it. That's super nice. So that's great. 4 games. Raj?
Ooh, all right, games. If you're below the age of 15, play Minecraft. If you're above 15, play more Minecraft.
Dude,
I
there are lots of games. There are
plenty, too many.
industry of games. There's nothing I can add to the game, and I know parents also sometimes have concern about too much game. So again, if you can build that foundation of assigning time management, you never faced with too much of something, because the child is controlling and understanding. Okay, 2 hours game is enough, 1 hour education, 3 hours learning, that kind of thing. So go for the next one, social media. It's
Yeah,
easy.
I think we can consider all platforms.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. So let's go for the next.
Yeah.
Article and ebook, Raj.
Oh, plenty of places. A simple Google search can lead you to thousands and millions of articles to really look through.
For example,
Yeah.
one of the places that I like to name is the Medium. Medium.com is a great
Yes.
place that they are curating, and all the writers come and write beautiful articles on different topics. So you can download the apps, topics that you are interested, just key in, and then you get some notification there's an article. And if you like the article, algorithm will study you and give you more articles. You can follow an author. And you really can even tell you that you can say that I'm interested in articles that I can finish in 5 minutes. So the length of article you can search above it. So it's a really, really good place. And of course,
I also
many
like
good places.
Harvard Review is also good.
Yes.
One of the online places that I refer to usually is Harvard Review.
It's exactly nice. Many nice encyclopedia. For me, above all, is Wikipedia. I learn a lot from Wikipedia almost every day, non-stop.
Yeah.
So now next, audio and podcast. Ash.
For me now, I'm following a bunch of podcasts from Spotify. It's
Okay.
very easy. Yeah, I can easily access it. But I think there are other podcast platforms as well. What do you think, Raj? I think you're more familiar with this, right?
Yeah, there are plenty of like audio-based platforms, right? Within Malaysia, we have Joox, we have Spotify, and a lot of these podcasts now are actually on YouTube as well. So Spotify gives the audio-only version, and then YouTube has the video version as well. So there are plenty of places that you can look at for podcasts. But I think Spotify is a great place for you to check out. Speaking about podcasts and talk shows, if you guys haven't subscribed to the UncleTalk podcast / talk show yet, you have to subscribe. It's a super good channel. If you're not biased.
And the last one is community forum and discussion.
I like this. Personally, I like it. Yeah, I used to go to Quora to ask to ask questions, because I get real answers from people who are searching like me, or from people who are also experts. So
You know, one of the very important thing is when we talk about the learning materials, when we talk about information, videos, games, social media, article, audio, this is different. This is a sort of contents coming out of people interaction. You understand? That's a very different sort of kind. It means like you go to the core, you see that people created nice questions, and other people come and give beautiful answers. And why they do that? Some of them because they want to promote their brand. Some of them, they want to get projects out of this. So it's a nice environment. I give other people answers, and I finally get appreciation and recognition, and some other people come and then invest and then hire me for a problem. You see, so beautiful is this internet. I don't need to get money to answer your question. This is the nice things behind this form of economy. Or Stack Overflow, which just purchased $1.8 billion by Perseus, one of the great European venture capitalists. So it's a huge community of computer programmer answer every day. If you look at every computer programmer, this Stack Overflow is like your oracle. That means you're gonna be dead if more important than the internet, I guess. So that means whenever you face with anything, you search and get the answer. It's really beautiful. So yes, it's a very important part. So these are the 7 categories that I think parents should consider. So learning materials, information news, video entertainment, games. Games are good. You have to play. You have to understand them. Social media, article and ebooks, audio and podcasts, and community forum and discussion. So that's
awesome. Very nice. So Uncle Cole, one final question, I think, to wrap things up. Let's talk about action steps, right? What could you share some ideas on how parents can engage with their children, right? When it comes to screens, how can they use screens in a productive manner?
Perfect. Now, So this is a very important question, because we started by focusing on who should make a decision, and then we show that we are interested to see child can do that, and then we talk about the implicit controlling and utilize the app as much as possible. Do not interfere. Don't do micromanagement, because they say that for every second that you engage or a teacher intervene to student learning process, they produce 10 times loss in child learning. It's a very interesting thing. I know we have to do that sometimes. When the child can't solve a question, then the teacher should intervene. But that's a sad moment. Unfortunate sad moments. So this theory, this concept says that as much as possible, if we can build an environment, ecosystem that children learn, so it's really good things to do that. And also we talk about different kind of topics. And now we are going to land our discussion into this interesting things. What are creative ideas that align with that implicit controlling and negotiations and engagement to help children to do that? So I'm going to give you guys a few options, and I want, if you have any questions, or I may ask you, Raj and Ash, to share your feeling about it.
Mhm.
First of all, the one that I mentioned a few times ago is research and presentation. It's very, very, very important. Super duper important. You know what? My example always is if your child come to you and say that, hey, mommy, daddy, I want to buy for me an iPhone, for example, let's say, okay, just something come to my mind, tip of mind. So if you have a plan to do that, or let's say child want to buy a Mac, you want to buy a Mac book for your child, let's say. So if you want to do that, why not tell your children that, okay, I want to buy this for you, but you have to go through the internet, watch many reviews about the Mac, and come up with the presentation of the story of the Mac, what make Mac Air good things for students, what is the difference in the RAM, what is this kind of RAM, memory, graphic, 4K, what is the new technologies, what is the M1 CPU, why this is better than the Intel, what are so if you put your child into this journey immediately, child within 2 weeks, today children, they are good in the internet. They search, they go through the reviews, they figure out pros and cons of having Mac, and maybe child back and say, I don't want Mac, I want Intel laptop, and who knows. So, but the thing is, you put them into decision, and then do not forget to ask them to create proper presentation. It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very, preparing presentation is difficult than just research. It takes a time consuming. You have to think how to structure it, font size, the structures, how to make it very clear and clean. So these are the things that it's really great for children's mind. So this is my number one suggestion to all the parents.
Mhm. So parents, we just want to make it clear that for basic necessities like clothing, food, and all that, please don't ask your children to make a PowerPoint presentation for that, right? But Uncle Cole, so what kind of tools can they use for these presentations?
When it comes to the research part, first, resources that children, they have to go more often. Of course, when they start to search, they see that there are some websites more popular for that topic. For example, there are websites talk about the food, talk about the computers. Okay, so macworld.com, for example, if you're searching about a Macworld, so MacBook, or some YouTube channels. So that's one thing. When it comes to tools for presentation, it can be a Google slide, free, and they can just create, and that's good enough. Even the companies and all the business teams, and they go, or Prezi, which is something that I always like it. It's something really interesting, has been around for quite a long time, and it's nice, it's beautiful. And when you create your presentation with Prezi, it really impress people. So children, they can learn. These are the skills children must acquire, these skills. And also for general tools, they have to learn with some online note apps or some kind of Word docs and Grammarly to improve their English grammar or that kind of things to write down. So these are the tools that they can use, and available free of charge, many of them. So that is my first. Second thing that always I say is TED Talk. Watch TED Talk with your children and your family. It's a great opportunity for family talk. That means, why not every night or evening, or I don't know, anytime, it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, sit down together, pick up one and then watch. That's all. Just watch it and talk about it. It's super nice. You do that, really. They say, guys, they say, if I'm not wrong, they say, I have to check. I think 21 days or 31 days is the cycle of building a habit.
21 days.
21
days? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks. So if you can repeat something 21 days, then click, happen. you turn it to habit. For example, you want to eat waters more every day. So you repeat it for 21 days. So 21 days, watch TED and then live it. And then you're going to be kind of, it's a beautiful thing to do that.
Yeah, if you watch TED for 21 days, you become a TED speaker on the 22nd
Yes.
day.
Yes.
Yes. Ask your kid to go and give you a talk and a speech for family members and friends. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I personally like this. But then there's tons of TED Talks, even in different countries. You can search from different countries. But how do we select which is the ideal TED Talk to watch as a family?
You know what? I think I'm going to record a video about TED and I will share it to my Instagram to give some tips about it. But in general, when you go to the TED websites, there are tons of categories for everything. So you can go to your interest category and then figure out the category that you wanted. And when you go there, you can see that there are a lot of videos coming up. And through the number of likes, reviews, and a speaker, because there's a nice description about a speaker. And TED come up with different layout. TED is the main one, is the very difficult one that they always bringing famous speakers and effective speaker. But they have a lot of also smaller variations for the TED that even like different people go and show. But all of them are good. But one of the nice way is if you follow their Instagram, they keep curating and sending selection of some topics that you're interested. You can subscribe and show the interest you have, and then you get notification about talk into your field of interest. That's a quick and fast way to do that. Yeah. Many things, interesting things, life, psychology, economy, relationship, biology, technology. This is amazing. I think it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Awesome. What other tips do you have?
And then I have also 3 more, so I'll go through them fast. One of the things that I really always tell people is, why not watch? Okay, your children may be interested in game, maybe interested in food, maybe interested in toys, maybe interested in a book, maybe interested in some sort of the cartoons or movies or some sort of makeup or some products or whatever. There are tons of review channels over the internet, right? You know that. Instagram and internet and YouTube. Why not, when you know that your kid interested in, for example, a particular products, why not you sit down with them and then watch reviews of those channels? It's one of the nice and effective way, because they like it. You sit down and listen what they listen, and you understand why they like that product. For example, you see that your teenager interested in some sort of music. So there are review channels. Review, not necessarily you listen, review. So review is different. Review is the guy is talking about those musics, compare it, pros and cons. So it's super nice. So that's one of the nice way that you can create content and engage yourself with your children. So that's one thing. And also another thing which I'm very, very fan of it, is engaging your children in decision making. For example, you guys also, you have to help me if you remember any experience like this when you were a child or not. That, for example, a parent want to buy a new refrigerator for kitchen, or they want to go, for example, for a trip, or they want to make a major decision, okay, or even a small decision. So this is the best time you ask your child, you are my assistant to search. You are my R&D assistant. Call them my R&D assistant. It doesn't matter. You're professors, you're awesome, or you're a casual person. No, just play that role. Turn your children to your assistant. They will surprise you. I have done this in the students here. They literally surprise you. Okay, my child, go and search about the refrigerator, what we should buy for the house. They feel, wow, amazing. Now internet is something important, is the thing that makes me important. So I'm waiting for the next time that you give me this chance. So this is nice. If you guys had any chance or remember anything in your child time to be in a loop of decision making?
Well, I think it's not myself per se, but I've seen this many times from parents that I've encountered in kindergarten. When the kid themselves are the ones who are registering. Perfect, even if they're 11 years old, even younger, and then they bring their parents. So it's actually quite interesting.
Happens a lot.
It happens a lot. And the kids, they tell themselves that, I'm searching for this kind of class. So I went to the internet and registered myself. It's quite interesting. And this also happens when it's in the time that they wanted to choose what they want to take into. And the parents, they it's like they huddle. It's like a family huddle. And it's nice because you get to see how parents, they communicate with their kids in deciding, do you really like this? Do you want to split your time between, let's say, sports and this at the same time? How are you going to manage this? And in that particular moment, the kids, they get to make the decision. What do I want? What will make my life change? And it's a beautiful experience.
Right. I remember many moments. Very good. Well said. I totally remember.
Yeah.
I want to pick up the last things that I strongly believe in this one. This required a little bit of more skills, but not only parents. I think team leaders can do that, and school should do that. You know what? This is very important. We gain the ability to have rational conversation with environment around of us. It's very important. How much I do have this skill to be criticized, and I don't feel insecure. How much I have this ability to criticize other people without giving them the feeling of insecurity. But most of times we tell the people, try to be okay with criticism. You hear this a lot, right? Many times.
Yeah.
So don't be stubborn. Let people, but you hear many times. Hey, criticize people in a nice way. We have a lot of school of thoughts on how to be criticized, but we have less on how to criticize people nicely. Be kind. So these two, both of them are important. And what is my last option is this. You know what? I do this one. If I'm in your shoes, dear parent, I do that. I pick up a topic every week, maybe one time. I pick up a topic which is a little bit controversial. For example, let's say, for example, we want to discuss with family that shall we use mask all the time, even when no one is around of us, or whatever. There's a topic, It's a topic that people can have different opinion. Then you divide your family to two groups: Group A, Group B. So each group has 2-3 days to search, to find facts in profounding and also disapproving this. Okay, so in favor and in disfavor. So both sides. That means I collect facts to support, and I collect facts to not support. Then when it comes to the day, we sit down. This is not the nice thing about this is tech free. We start to do the debating. So Group A says, okay, I want to say that we have to do that. Group B says, no, we shouldn't do every time. So we continue this like for half an hour. Then we switch. Group A start to say that, no, you shouldn't. And Group B start to say, prove it. So this alternating duet, this kind of, I choose the name for this, alternative duet, altuet. So this altuet technique, it's beautiful because you are training your children that, do you understand, truth is not about you are proving it or you are disproving this. So when you repeat this 31 weeks, it will be a habit in you, 21 weeks. It will be a habit in your child mind that, okay, so if I think this is true, I prove it. And if I found a fact is not true, oh, sorry, accept it. Like a scientist mindset. This is the best thing, search over the internet and also family discussion. So this is my golden advice, all to it. So that's all. This was my...
Fantastic.
I like
fantastic.
that. Yeah, I
that's
like
great.
that.
It's super catchy. It's short.
Talk about this.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have UncleTalk do this. You got what I mean?
Yes.
Let's try this. Two by two. I like it. I like to do that. Let's have this style.
We'll have it. We'll have like a two aside, and then we can debate about a super controversial topic. It'll be fun. Yeah. And I just want to say, I want to be on Uncle Code's team. Thank you. I'm booking his team first.
I was thinking I act as a judge.
Awesome. So
Raj, I will be center instead of Ash. Then Raj, I give 10 minutes to you, Raj, be positive and Ash be against, and then we flip another 10 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes we compile whatever we got as a result. I think that would be nice.
That would be really nice. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So, you guys who are listening to this talk show right now, if you have any topic suggestions for the L duet, drop it in the comment section below,
Do
and we
that.
might just make it happen.
Love
Right?
it.
Awesome. So there we have it. Ash, thank you so much for being on the show today. Uncle Code, again, a very
you.
insightful session. And yeah, we have come to the end of the talk show for today. Any last words, Uncle Code, before we sign out?
I'm very happy that we consumed today 55 minutes of your screen time.
All
This
your
is
year
good.
time.
This is a good screen time and a screen content. Don't doubt about it. Share it with your children. We try to create content that you can sit down with your family and watch it. So that's one thing. So next to the TED, UncleTalk also is another thing that you can watch, and then you can have some time about it. And then to ask your children, what do you think? Do you think what? It's not like kind of you agree whatever we say. Debate about it at home, and also share with us your thoughts. That's
Awesome.
my last word.
Awesome. Excellent. So you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all our social media platforms. And we will catch you in the next episode of Uncle Talk. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.